So recently, Elon Musk just did an interview talking about not just Tesla, but so many other things. But in this video, it's going to be everything that Elon Musk said about Tesla. And I had to make this video cutting out everything else except for Elon talking about Tesla, because it was such a huge moment with all the things that he had to say. But I want you guys to pay attention on some of the things that he mentioned. Some of the things that he mentioned, which was Robotaxis and Optimus, but the other things that are much more important, and why it's important for Elon to be part of Tesla. Like how Optimus can play a very big role in Neuralink and other things that I don't want to spoil it for y'all. But you guys are going to enjoy this because this was a really awesome interview with a lot of good details that includes the Roadster and so many other things. So make sure you guys get that popcorn, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go!
Cybercab, which is a two-seater, and that would not replace the 3-in-Y, because 3-in-Y have a 4-seater and 6-seater capability. I think you'd find that the Cybercab would be for 1 or 2 passengers, and then dynamically it would call the Model 3 or Y for 4 passengers or Y for 6 passengers. And then we'll have the larger vehicles. Tesla will own some of the fleet will be Tesla owned, and some of the fleet will be customer owned. So you could think of it as a model kind of like maybe some combination of Uber and Airbnb, where some people own the cars and then add or subtract them to the fleet, and some cars are owned by Tesla directly. We're aiming for a demonstration at the end of this year. I mean, the Roadster is not something that's going to meaningfully affect the financials of the company, because it's too small relative to other programs. It is very cool. So hopefully we're able to do a demo at the end of this year, or early next year, latest. The current version of Optimus, I think, is the right design to go to volume production, but it is a significant redesign from version 2. In fact, almost nothing stays the same. So I'm really faced with a choice of, should we make several thousand version 2 Optimus robots when we know the design can be much better, or should we pause, do version 3, which is much better, and and we would maybe have, I don't know, a few hundred robots instead of a few thousand robots by the end of this year. And I think the right decision was to go with version 3 and then scale production significantly next year. In terms of the value of Optimus, you really need to think of the basic question of who wouldn't want their own personal C-3PO R2-D2? It would actually be, by the way, much better than in functionality than C-3PO and R2-D2. It would be super useful. So I think basically everyone on Earth is going to want one. And then you're going to have a bunch in industry. It's probably the world's biggest product, because there's at least a market for probably 20 billion of these. It could be 50 billion, I don't know, a lot. Hypothetically, if Tesla was making 1 billion of these a year at scale, and at scale the cost gets lower and lower. So maybe it'd be like on the order of $50,000. I'm just guessing here. And that's 30 trillion in revenue. That's a long way to go between here and making 1 billion robots a year. I do think something like that may happen. Say somebody needs a lot of medical care or something. So like if Optimus could be like a 24-hour-a-day nurse or helper to someone that is quadriplegic or something like that, or something just really it needs physical help. So that's the kind of thing which would be life-changing for a lot of people. Those would be the highest value initial use cases. It will also be used in situations where the work is very dangerous, or where there's a lot of repetitive tasks. But like any work that risks life or some kind of injury would be a good initial use case for Optimus. I've never seen any technology advance as fast as AI. And I've seen a lot of technologies advance. The rate of, I call it, and maybe this is a discomforting metaphor, but AI is a supersonic tsunami. The goal Tesla previously was accelerating the advancement of sustainable energy, which is like a very good goal. And then the reason I pursued that rather than AI, because I could have pursued AI from the beginning, was because I was confident that sustainable energy was a single-edged sword. It was only a good edge. So we showed that, okay, we succeed in that. Like, okay, that's definitely good. Sustainable energy, by definition, is great. You get cleaner air, and and I can run out of whatever the source fuel is with combination of solar batteries and electric cars. Then that's an unequivocal good. For AI, like I said, it is more of a double-edged sword risk. But I think it most likely will be good, and most likely will bring immense prosperity. And it's going to figure out how to cure every disease, and it's probably going to be awesome. But I think we need to be careful and not complacent, and we actually be somewhat paranoid to make sure that we have the good AI future and not the bad AI. So, I mean, from a Tesla stock standpoint, I think stock with autonomous cars and especially with Optimus, it does go to sort of crazy levels. I'd always recommend looking at Cathie Wood and ARK Invest's analysis. They've been right in the past, and I think they're right this time. And again, with a lot of difficult execution, I think people out there said, well, Tesla's valuation could be 25 trillion. And I think that's probably correct if we execute well on autonomous transport and Optimus. It actually does get to a 20 to 30 trillion dollar valuation. That's 20 to 30 times what it is today. Math is clear. So it's just a massive amount of work. And I think if we do that massive amount of work, that's what will happen. The Neuralink team is aiming to do about 20 patients by the end of the year. And then next year, we'll be doing the blind sight implant, which will enable people who are completely blind, like if they've lost both eyes and optic nerve, and still be able to see. Interfacing directly with the visual cortex. With Optimus, we're able to reuse the autopilot computer. So Optimus intelligence is powered by the AI for the same computer that controls the car, and a small battery pack that's similar to the car battery pack. So there's a lot of similarities with the car, and then the AI that's in the car is similar to the AI that will be in Optimus, running on the AI4 hardware, and then AI5 hardware when that's ready. So there are a lot of parallels, but the limiting factor is the hand. But I'm convinced that Optimus will be the biggest product ever. And then, of course, autonomy is starting to roll out, currently in Austin, but will be in many cities throughout the United States later this year, and hopefully many countries next year. This is part of the reason for Neuralink, which is to improve the bandwidth of communication with AI, so to help achieve a better human AI symbiosis, so that AI knows what we want and it can respond to collective human will. And I think things like Neuralink can actually effectively dramatically increase our intelligence. But I think the future is very much one where human intelligence, machine intelligence, and robots are interwoven. Like I said, I think it's 80%, maybe 90% likely to be awesome. But we got to be cautious about that, 10%, maybe not awesome situation.